Yo, it's Isaiah. I got a few things to talk about before I got to go to work. First things first is apparently the company who let me just let the nigga talk. Let's see. I don't
Trump
have
is renewing calls for
premium
the
for this
U.S.
shit.
to acquire Greenland. The president says his team is considering.
What does a massive explosion in Tennessee have to do with Charlie Kirk's murder? Watch this video.
Accurate Energetic Systems produced this explosive, this extra small anti-personnel explosive that was contracted on May 1, delivered on August 25. Charlie Kirk dies on September 10, and by October 10, this place is toast. And when I say toast, I mean it was an explosion that was so massive, it was felt by people who live near me 60 miles away. 60 miles away, people felt this explosion. It wiped the plant off the map. Nothing is left. Literally nothing's left. You look at a picture before, you look at a picture after, nothing is left.
So apparently there was a company that give me a sec.
Explosive that was delivered.
They had a contract. It's called Accurate Energetic Systems LLC.
They
had a contract to supply a miniaturized extra small demolition charges and demolition charges and anti-personnel extra small to support SPM, engineered products for government use. And then the dates that they were used for was the start date was May 1st, the end date was August 25th, and then the potential end date was August 26th. So if you think about it, listen to the rest of what they talk about.
Contracted on May 1, delivered on August 25. Charlie Kirk dies on September 10, and by October 10, this place is toast. And when I say toast, I mean it was an explosion that was so massive, it was felt.
So this company March 1st, May 1st, whichever M it was, I can't remember exactly. They get the contract on the 1st of that month. Then about 6 months later, they finish the contract, and then 2 months later, 16 are dead at a devastating blast at a Tennessee plant where people could feel the explosion 60 miles away.
By people who live near me 60 miles away. 60 miles away, people felt this explosion. It wiped the plant off the map. Nothing is left.
Look at that. You could tell it's just the dirt road going in, how it converges all around the company.
Literally nothing's left. You look at
it's the exact same building. Like, this is Accurate Explosion, whatever the company name, Accurate something. That was their base. Now it's nothing. 16 people died.
Before, you look at a picture after, nothing is left. They had previously been fined, and because one of the explosive materials they were using, called cyclonite, was not properly stored, and it was landing on people's skin, and it was causing them seizures. That cyclonite is so dangerous is, if it gets into the soil, it doesn't break down. It's very soil mobile, they call it. So once cyclonite is present in an area, you would not want that soil to be accessible. You might want to pave over the site, for example.
Now, we had a lot of questions of people about people saying, yo, if Charlie Kirk got killed there, why won't you guys do like a federal investigation on the grounds? Why is there the fucking, I don't know, whoever coming there with their landscaping company paving over the area where Charlie was murdered? And what he's saying is in a hypothetical world, if they did use this thing called cyclonite to kill Charlie Kirk, they would have had to repave over the grass because it causes seizures. Now, if you go and you look at the thing that he posted on here before, while he was zoomed
people felt this explosion. It wiped the plant off the map. Nothing is left.
Check this.
Literally nothing's left. You look at a picture before, you look at a picture after, nothing is left. They had previously been fined, and because...
Bang. So it says, the Tennessee Why does it keep fucking doing that, bro? It says the Tennessee, here, I'm about to just speed. I'm about to put it on 0.25 speed, and I'm going to press play so I can read it. I don't read slow. So it says, The Tennessee safety.
Materials they
Turn this shit
were
off. The occupational health, after two employees, the Tennessee Occupational Safety and Health Administration conducted an inspection of Accurate Energetic Solutions facility in McEwen, April 2019, after two employees experienced seizure events on site before beginning their shifts for the day, and another employee experienced a seizure at home the same morning. They'd all been working in the facility's hothouse the day prior. According to the report, drying and screening the powdered explosive cyclonite. The subsequent TOSHA inspection revealed that the 5 employees had experienced central nervous something. Can't see it. Let me turn the speed back up.
and it was landing on people's skin and it was causing them seizures. That cyclonite is so dangerous is if it gets into the soil, it doesn't break down. It's very soil mobile, they call it. So once cyclonite is present in an area, you would not want that soil to be accessible. You might want to pave over the site, for example, if cyclonite had exploded in a given area. You wouldn't want kids at a college, for example, laying around in a courtyard that has cyclonite in it. You would want to make sure you've paved over that area or you've dug it up.
On Sean Ryan's show, he asked Brian Harpole when they started preparing for the UVU event that who got whatted.
And so we started the 24th of the month prior.
In a few
Okay, so bam, what did we say? So that company got the contract from the government March 1st or May 1st, I can't remember which M. And they were slated to end on the 25th of August. They started preparing Sunday, the 24th of August. The security people. Huh? Coincidence? I don't know. Let's see. Keep going. And then
leading up to the who, there were some strange flights.
The month prior, we had this mysterious flight from Joint Base Andrews to Colorado Springs, and then Colorado Springs to Las Vegas, and then back from Las Vegas to Camp Springs. Not a single person yet has provided a legitimate alibi. This flight still has significant relevance, and this significant relevance was this SAM 000 flight. That's almost assuredly the Vice President of the United States. SAM 000, if it's not the president, is almost always the vice president. There's an outside chance it was someone else, but it's probably not. It is someone.
SAM 000. Let's see what SAM 000 flight. SAM 000 flight. Maybe I'm hearing it wrong. Is it SAM? Oh, SAM 000. SAM 000. SAM 000 flight. Who usually flies in this plane? I wonder if we can see. I'm just gonna try. I can't corroborate what he's saying.
At the very tip top of civilian government or military government here in the United States. You remember the Accurate Energetic Systems explosion in McEwen, Tennessee? It was a military contractor who mixes up military-grade explosives and then sells them to the United States government. USAspending.gov. I see this description. Requirement for miniaturized, extra small demolition charges and demolition charges, anti-personnel, extra small. This is where the dates really start to come into play. The date of this contract was opened on May 1st, 2025, and it was delivered on August 25, 2025. We have Brian Harpole telling us that the planning began in earnest on August 24th. August 25th is the Monday. On August 25th, we have a SAM 000 flight that goes to Colorado Springs. That's very important. The civilian airport in Colorado Springs was the last destination of the SAM flight that went into Fort Huachuca, where allegedly Brian Harpole and others were spotted the day before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Accurate energetic systems produced this explosive.
Hold on, what did that just say about Candy?
25 into play. The date of this contract was opened on May 1st, 2025, and it was delivered on August 25, 2025. We have Brian Harpole telling us that the planning began in earnest on August 24th. August 25th is the Monday. On August 25th, we have a SAM 000 flight that goes to Colorado Springs. That's very important. The civilian airport in Colorado Springs was the last destination of the SAM flight that went into Fort Huachuca, where allegedly Brian Harpole and others were spotted the day before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Accurate energetic systems produced this explosive, this extra small anti-personnel explosive that was contracted on May 1, delivered on August 25. And then Charlie Kirk dies on September 10, and by October 10, this place is toast. It was an explosion that was so massive, it was felt by people who live near me 60 miles away. It wiped the plant off the map. They had previously been fined because one of the explosive materials they were using, called cyclonite, was not properly stored, and it was landing on people's skin, and it was causing them seizures. If it gets into the soil, it doesn't break down. It stays very dangerous for a very long time. So once cyclonite is present in an area, you would not want that soil to be accessible. You might want to pave over the site, for example, if cyclonite had exploded in a given area. You wouldn't want kids at a college, for example, laying around in a courtyard that has cyclonite in it.
What's crazy to me is that this facility completely disappeared. Like you guys saw, the footprint was gone. And there is no room for investigation when something like that happens, unless they can go find all the little pieces. So basically they made it disappear and there was no investigation. The same way Charlie Kirk's crime scene wasn't preserved for an actual investigation to take place. Now cue the cyclonite, which doesn't break down very well, and if it lands on land, then the industry standard for that is to repave the whole thing, which makes me question, where does this stuff go? They erased that explosion facility for the same reason they erased Charlie Kirk's assassination site, so that there was no investigation. And why hasn't anyone given a transparent explanation of what happened at either event? It really has come down to the point where you can't believe one thing that the government says. There's always some underlying reason or sets of reasons for why they do what they do, and none of it has to do with the preservation of the American life and all of our freedoms and our rights. I'm not telling you who to believe, but if you could just stop believing the mainstream media, then we would be way better off. A lot of you would be woken up to what's happening, and we wouldn't be having all these mechanisms of dividing us be what we focus on. I mean, the fact that we're sitting here months and months after Charlie's assassination and we still don't have a real answer, no one's really been brought to justice, there hasn't been any transparency, this proves my point. If it's not videos like this, and to the credit of the people who made these videos that I showed you, I mean, how else would we know? No one else is reporting on it.
All right. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you niggas. The second thing I wanted to show you niggas is this. National. So the National Intelligence Intel resign. So the National Intelligence guy, Joe Kent, he resigned today, and this was the letter that he left. And let me just bring it up. I'm not able to bring it up on the computer for some odd reason. Nobody's like showing the letter, other than a few other things. Give me a sec. Recently saved. All right, perfect. I got it. So it says it says Director of National Intelligence, National Counterterrorism Center, Joseph Kent. President Trump, after much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as Director of National Counterterrorism Center effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. I support the values and the foreign policies that you've campaigned for on 2016, 2020, and 2024, which you enacted in your first term until June of 2025. You understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the previous lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. In your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting drawn into never-ending wars. You demonstrated this by killing Qasem Soleimani and by defeating ISIS. Early in the administration, high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your American First platform and sold pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran. I swear, if this letter's real, if this really what he told the president, and he called out the fact that the Jews got us in. All right, let me finish. He continues on to say, this echo chamber was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States and that you should strike now. There was a clear path to a swift victory. This was a lie and is the same tactic that Israelis used to draw us into the disastrous Iraq war that cost our nation lives, the lives of thousands of our best men and women. We cannot make the mistake again. As a veteran who deployed to combat 11 times, woo! An 11-time combat veteran, and as a Gold Star husband who lost my beloved wife Shannon in a war manufactured by Israel, I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cost of American lives. I pray that you reflect upon what you're doing in Iran and who we are doing it for. The time for bold action is now. You can reverse course and chart a new path for our nation, or you can continue to allow us to slip further towards decline and chaos. You hold the cards. It was an honor to serve in your administration and to serve our great nation. Joseph Kent. Joseph Kent is probably going to die. They're going to kill Joseph Kent. He was talking spice.
When I started my record label, the business side of things,
We'll see if we can find a video.
taxes, finances, definitely felt like adulting. But just because you start your own thing doesn't mean you have to figure it out on your own.
Nah, bro.
It's been amazing to have a TurboTax
You're not gonna do that to me, bro.
bounce
I'm a
ideas
grown
off
ass
of.
man. You're not gonna
Even
make
if I'm
me
in the
watch
studio alone
this
at
dude
night,
talk about
I have
some shit I don't care about. Oh shit. We just got another predictive history. God is so good. We just got another predictive history. Oh man, and we got a lot of stuff that we're gonna be putting out tonight. This was just a little preview just to like show y'all what was going on this morning. As y'all know, I get ready to Al Jazeera, so we gonna put on some Al Jazeera, put on a little Al Jazeera, and we'll coast out. Al Jazeera is always live. Al Jazeera is a news
Imagine
platform.
being able to build an app with your
They
name
keep
on
niggas
it
in the loop.
just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI.
Iranian hierarchy. What is the administration saying about this killing?
Well, President Trump appeared to confirm reports that Larijani had been killed, but interestingly enough, he did not refer to him by name. He referred to those two that Israel says that it killed as this guy and the other guy, which is deeply strange because Larijani has been utterly central to negotiations, direct and indirect, between the US and Iran over a vast period of time. He was the absolute center of the negotiation process with previous US administrations and has been at the center of negotiations even with this administration, be it indirect. So he's an utterly central figure. Now, President Trump had earlier said that there is no one to negotiate with because all the senior leaders have been killed. It would appear that Larijani is now one of those with whom the administration could have or would have negotiated should it have wanted to, and should Iran have wanted to discuss a way to end the conflict. And also, importantly, it must be noted that Larijani came to the Supreme Commander position only after the US and Israeli strikes last year against Iranian nuclear facilities, or so it was claimed. So in effect, the US played a major role in putting into power, with complete control over Iranian defense and nuclear development, into the one man who knows the US better than any other Iranian.
And of course, Mike, here in the United States itself, we've got this resignation of the first senior Trump administration official, Joe Kent. What's being said about that?
Well, President Trump was largely dismissive of this resignation that was announced earlier on in the day. But it's a very serious move by a very senior figure. Joe Kent is not your average bureaucrat. He's a special forces operative with decades of experience in the field. He has been in theaters of war. He knows what he's talking about when he speaks about troops on the ground. So his resignation is a real blow to the Trump administration, particularly because he phrases it as Israel having beguiled Trump into entering this war, the Israeli lobby having created an echo chamber, providing Trump with false information.
And we just
which
read
led
that.
to his intervention and his decision to go to war. So the other point about Joe Kent is that he's a strong MAGA supporter. He's a fervent admirer of Donald Trump. He now falls into the category of those within the MAGA movement who are deeply concerned about President Trump's declaration of war, not only because of the fact that President Trump said, unlike his predecessors, he would never put his soldiers in harm's way on foreign soil.
And what did I say inside of my video about why I'm so fucking mad that Trump pulled this shit, but I'm not mad I didn't vote for him, that I did vote for him? What did I say? I said, this nigga, he was talking great shit. He was amazing. And now you got niggas like Joe Kent fucking, I don't know who the fuck this nigga is, but I fuck with him, bro.
That's exactly what he is doing, and that's exactly what Joe Kent has pointed out in his resignation letter.
All right, that's a picture from the White House. Mike Hanna reporting. Let's shift focus to Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. Noor O'Day is standing by for us there. And Noor, so what are Israeli officials saying about this? How the killings of Laranjani and Soleimani being framed?
Well, they're being framed as a victory, Nick. The Israeli prime minister has said that Israel has an opportunity, a historic opportunity to achieve what it wants, and that is basically to end the Islamic Republic of Iran, not just to assassinate its most senior leaders. Of course, Larijani himself had been described in Israeli commentary over the past week or so as the most dangerous mind in Iran. And that tells you a lot, because Israel understood Larijani would be critical if a deal is to be reached to end this war. And that is not the scenario that the Israeli prime minister and his government are looking for. They're looking to maximize benefit to serve that end goal of ending the Islamic Republic in the window that is provided to them by the U.S. president. They are afraid of anything that might expedite Trump's decision to end the war. And hence, that assassination, framed as a victory, comes in that context politically.
Meanwhile, the strikes continue in both directions. Indeed, a barrage of rockets have been fired into Israel from southern Lebanon. The launch following an Israeli airstrike on a building south of Beirut earlier on Tuesday. Israel says it's targeting Hezbollah sites in a renewed bombing campaign that's killed at least 900 people and has displaced more than 1 million people. No casualties have been reported so far. Let's hear from Noor again. So what more are you hearing, Noor, about these latest attacks?
Well, Israel has been attacked by Iranian missiles and now by Hezbollah rockets. And interestingly, Nick, we heard from the Israeli army earlier in the afternoon warning the residents of northern communities that they saw movement and that they expected a very large barrage of rockets coming from Hezbollah. Now, this is important because last week a similar incident happened and the army denied having knowledge of such movement, and they were blamed because Hezbollah fired almost 200 rockets and there was a lot of damage caused in those northern communities where anger is growing, Nick, because they don't have enough protection. They don't see it. And inside, the Israeli military keeps telling them that even if the war in Iran would last another month, the war on Hezbollah in Lebanon will outlast that by many months.
Noor, thanks for that. Noor O'Day there in Ramallah. Well, several explosions have rocked Iraq's capital of Baghdad near the US Embassy. The building was reportedly the target of drone strikes on Tuesday. On Monday, a drone strike hit a prominent hotel near the embassy in Baghdad's Green Zone. Asad Beg joins us live now from Baghdad. Yes, Asad, we had those strikes 24 hours ago, just a little less than 24 hours ago. What more can you tell us about the latest strikes that are coming in?
Well, the latest is that there's been a sharp escalation in drone and aerial activity, not just here in Baghdad, but across Iraq, as this conflict continues to spill over into Iraq. Now, you were talking about Baghdad. We've had drone activity here in Baghdad's Green Zone, where the US Embassy is located tonight. And we understand that 2 drones are intercepted, whilst a third disappeared off radar. The anti-aircraft, the SRAM system that you've heard of before, that detects drones or aerial objects and tries to shoot them down, has been very active tonight. In fact, we were standing where I am right now, and we saw the anti-aircraft go up and then a series of loud explosions. Now, we understand that some debris has fallen across the capital here in the area of Al-Dura. Shrapnel fell on a university compound, causing damage to windows and infrastructure. However, no injuries have been reported. And in Al-Jazeera, near the central bank, we understand a fire has broken out where debris from an aerial object, authorities say, has fallen near the main gates, causing a fire. And there's still more information coming in about that. But it's not just the capital Baghdad. Across Iraq, we're hearing also in Erbil, the Iranian Kurdish opposition headquarters has been targeted by drones. We're hearing in Anbar province, the US has carried out airstrikes against a tribal meeting, and also near Mosul, there's been debris that's fallen on agricultural land in other parts of the country. We've heard that roads have been closed because drones have been taken down and because of airstrikes. Now, what this really shows is that there is this constant threat. There's really no let-up, whilst Iraqi security forces are also trying to neutralize those threats. But the real question is, some of these drones are being launched from within Baghdad, and that raises serious security questions.
Asad, thank you. Asad Beg there, reporting from Baghdad. Well, while all these latest developments are taking place, the Pentagon is sending more warships and troops to the Middle East. That's according to US media reports. The amphibious assault ship USS Tripoli is now heading to the region along with Marines. It was stationed in Japan. The deployment is meant to reinforce US troops already in the Middle East. Build-up follows a request from US Central Command, which oversees American military operations in the region. The head of the International Maritime Organization says that naval escorts through the Strait of Hormuz will not 100% guarantee the safety of ships attempting to transit the critical waterway. Arsenio Dominguez, Secretary General of the UN Maritime Agency, told the Financial Times that military assistance was not a long-term or sustainable solution to open up the strait. The IMO chief adds it reduces the risk, but the risk is still there. The merchant ships and seafarers can be affected. He says that ships are collateral damage of a conflict when the root causes have nothing to do with shipping. Tehran's retaliation is affecting the flow of goods far beyond oil and gas. Supply chain disruptions are impacting a long list of commodities used across many industries. Kulsum Sharif explains.
Days into the US-Israeli war on Iran, oil prices shot up. Now the conflict is driving up far more than just oil prices, and that's because Iran has effectively shut the Strait of Hormuz, a critical transit route for oil and gas supplies. It's also virtually stopped shipping traffic, and that's affecting commodities like aluminium. Now, the Gulf region accounts for about 8% of global supply, 30% of Europe's imports, and 20% of US imports. Now, low cost and vast energy resources have helped the countries here set up huge smelting factories, but they rely on raw material imports, and this choke point here is not letting that happen because those shipments are also getting stuck here. So now this is driving up aluminum prices, and it's the highest it's been in years. Now, nearly a third of the world's helium is sourced from
Grainger knows that if you're a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility and your machinery isn't working right, you need
liquefied natural gas. And Qatar, as we know, is a major exporter but it stopped production after Iranian attacks on its facility. Now remember, if there's no LNG, there's no helium. The gas supports several industries in the semiconductor, medical imaging, and aerospace. Now the Gulf also produces sulfur and urea. Now sulfur